Okay, shalom, shalom. Double honors to the elders, sing honors to the apostles, preach and teaching the word of truth. With sincerity as always. Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashmi Al-Shah Ba'ashmi Karkadash. I want to get into this article, some of the prophecy here. It says Trump administration warns of rising food prices. Okay, it says this here. Okay, because this one's going to be entitled Famine. Famine is going to come here soon. And as you see in the title, once again, it says Trump immigration plan could raise food prices. It says down here, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the point of the title there. The Labor Department warned that the Trump administration's mass deportation efforts could cause an uptick in food prices amid a decrease in labor and an increase in demand for fresh produce.
Their decision one way or the other based on the available information, but it adds to the risk that they make something that is less than an optimal decision.
The shutdown comes as the economy lost 32,000 private sector jobs in September, according to the payroll company ADP.
It is now a very bad time to have a government shutdown because we are in a very bad economy.
California Democratic Congressman Ted Lieu says Americans are already hurting, and this will make things worse.
Trump's economy is crushing Americans financially.
But Alabama Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville says people should not be concerned.
This is not going to last that long anyway. Keep living your life. Don't worry about this nonsense up here. We'll eventually come together and pass a budget or a CR.
Hamrick says he doesn't think the shutdown will have lasting economic impacts.
As long as it doesn't continue for a long time.
In Washington, I'm Maddie.
So there you go. There you have it, man. This is what's coming to pass. This is Haggai 2 and 17. I smote you with blasting and with mildew and with hail and all the labors of your hands, yet ye turn not to me, says Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So that's going into really Israel, in the ancient land of Israel, back in the time of Haggai, which was when they were trying to build the second temple during that time. The book of Haggai there. Okay, so okay, moving on to the other one here. So this is a good one here. Ecclesiastes. This is the 12th chapter here. And I'm going to just get this verse here. Ecclesiastes 12 and verse 3. In the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. God. And this is the times we're going to come into, when this famine is going to hit soon. Okay, it says in second Ezra, the 6th chapter. (22) And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall not be afraid. They shall be suddenly afraid. Come. And at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. Come. And you're seeing a bit of that now happening even. People want to fight each other like enemies. Soon they're going to be fighting each other for a bag of bread. The last Popeye sandwich. The last medium fries. Cookie from McDonald's. Soon that's going to come to pass soon as well. Why? Because these dumbass people ain't ready for what the fuck is going to happen. Yeah, these people ain't ready for what's going to happen, bro. Anyway, this one is here. Whosoever remaineth from all these that I have told you shall escape and see my salvation, and only the hopeful elect is going to be able to escape the times we're going to come into here. As it says in Isaiah, the 32nd chapter. Verse 10, and this is mainly going into your woman too, because the women are going to be getting judged. But it's also going into the famine as well that's going to hit here soon. Okay, because there is going to be a famine here. It's going to hit here. Isaiah 32 and verse 10, and in little more than a year you who feel secure will tremble, the grape harvest will fail, and the harvest of fruit will not come. So it says there, the grape harvest will fail and the harvest of fruit will not come. And there's no coincidence here that they're saying here in the article here on down. Amid a decrease in labor and an increase in demand for fresh produce. It said back there in Isaiah 32, 10 on down, the grape harvest will fail and the harvest of fruit will not come. Tremble, you complacent woman, shudder, you daughters who feel secure. Strip off your fine clothes and wrap yourselves in rags. Beat your breasts for the pleasant feuds, for the fruitful vines. And for the land of my people, a land overgrown with thorns and briars, yes, mourn for all houses of merriment, and for the city of revelry. The fortress will be abandoned, the noisy city deserted, citadel and watchtower will become a wasteland forever, the delight of donkeys, a pasture for flocks. And con. And this is what's going to happen. A famine. When you go into the scriptures, there was this mentions of famine. And in time of David. It mentions a 3-year famine occurred in the days of King David because of Saul's sin of killing the Gibeonites. 2 Samuel 21. Come on, so 2 Samuel 21. Once again, just excuse the noise all in the back. It's just an old ass car here. 2 Samuel 21, verse 1 to 6. There was a famine in David's time. It went on year after year after year. 3 years David went to God seeking for the reason. God said this is because there is blood on Saul and his house from the time he massacred the Gibeonites. And in the time of Joseph, there was a famine as well. Let's get that here in Genesis 47, verse 16. Then bring your livestock, said Joseph. I will sell your food in exchange for your livestock, since your money is gone. So they brought the livestock to Joseph. That's what you call the bartering system. Because that's what actual real money is. You know, you can sell your livestock and get food out of that in exchange for their horses, their sheep, and he gave them food in exchange for their horses, their sheep and goats, their cattle and donkeys, and he brought them through that year with food in exchange for all their livestock gone. Because you can have clothes or even silver or gold. But that really you can't multiply gold, right? You can't multiply that piece of clothes that you got unless you just keep it, you preserved. And then once you sell it, you can't multiply off of that. But with cattle and stuff like that, you can at least get lucky and multiply that. Just gotta have the money to feed it. If you know what I mean by that. It goes into, you gotta know some economics and shit like that to know what I mean, know what I'm saying. That's a lot of us in the street, we know about this stuff. What is real money? That's simple to us. We already know what real money is: silver, gold, land, houses, property, right? Even clothes. That's more real than this dollar. It's gonna collapse soon. Like it says in 18, when that year was over, they came to him this following year and said, "We cannot hide from our Lord the fact that since our money is gone and our livestock belongs to you, there is nothing left for our Lord except our bodies and our land." And that's right there. It also goes into the MOTB, what Esau is going to demand once he's done using your money and your livestock. He's going to ask for your bodies, your servitude, and your land, and by making you take the mark of the beast, or at least making you have a pick of this a choice to take it or not. 19. Why should we perish before he rides? We in our land as well. Buy us in our land in exchange for food, and we with our land will be in bondage to Pharaoh. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that the land may not become desolate. So Joseph bought all the land in Egypt for Pharaoh. The Egyptians, one and all, sold their fields because the famine was too severe for them. The land became Pharaoh's, and Joseph reduced the people to servitude from one end of Egypt to the other. And America's already in servitude, but this is the old world order. Okay, the new world order is going to be the fourth industrial revolution. The old world order is already this is the old world order, man. This paper money, paper dollar system. Okay, at one point America was dealing in silver and gold. When you look at the Native American Indians, let me ask Google this: How did Native Americans? I'm gonna ask Google this question here. I'm gonna ask them this question: How do Native American Indians use money to buy? Native Americans use various forms of money like wampum, those are beads, tantalum shells, and cocoa beans to buy goods. And even that, you can look at that and look down on that. But really, that's real money. That's actually something tangible than just a paper dollar that's going to tell you this is money right here. That's really what Esau has done to us, man. He's just giving you a dollar bill, literally just a piece of paper, put that's $1 symbol to it. And this one is $10, put a certain worth to it, and then tell you this is money. But see, at the end of the day, what did Meyer Amschel Rothschild say again? I brought that out yesterday in the MOTB video I made. The MOTB video, it brought this. It said, "Let me issue the in control of nation's money, and I care not who writes the laws." Meyer, Amschel, Rothschild, once again. And those are the wicked ass elites, and you can't trust them. They've been funding both sides of wars and they've been funding of false flags. They've been funding of terrorist attacks and all types of shit like that, man. They've been doing that. Okay, they're the ones that set up, especially nowadays, the more recent ones that I can know of is the 9/11. That was all to implement a law called the Terrorist Act. Bush, around that time, Bush was president, and that made him to push the terrorist law. The Patriot Act, I think it was called the Patriot Act. Of 2001. The USA Patriot Act is a U.S. law enacted in 2001 that expanded law enforcement's ability to combat terrorism by increasing surveillance powers, enhancing information sharing between agencies, and providing new investigative tools. Its purpose is to deter and punish terrorist acts in the United States and around the world. But some provisions have been criticized for potentially infringing on civil liberties. The act allows for enhanced tracking of communications, access to businesses and other records for national security investigations, and expanded penalties for terrorism-related crimes. So that was what that one was all about. And if you don't think it's any different now, well, then you're gonna be mistaken, because it's the same shit now. It's all the same shit now. Which goes into Isaiah 10. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and the right grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. Come on. Yeah, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. Same thing they did with the North American Indians. America. So I put, how did Europeans living in early America use money before paper money? The colonists relied on foreign coins, commodity money, and credit systems to conduct their daily transactions. Spanish dollar. The most common coin was the Spanish dollar, or piece of eights, prized for its consistent silver content. To make smaller change, the dollar coin would literally be cut into pieces, with 2 bits, becoming a common term for a quarter dollar. The Spanish dollar was considered legal tender in the U.S. until 1857. Other foreign currency coins from Portugal, France, and the Netherlands also appeared in the colonies, though their value and circulation varied by region. Tobacco, commodity money. Colonies often used their most valuable goods as a form of currency, through those commodities could be difficult to transport and had inconsistent value. Tobacco. In the southern colonies, particularly Virginia, tobacco was used as a medium of exchange. Its value was counted in pounds of tobacco, and colonial legislature would set official values for different commodities. Other goods, commodities like corn, beaver, pelts, animal skins, and even nails and musket balls were used for trade and payment. There you go. Book credit. Many business transactions were recorded as book credit in the merchant's ledger. A purchase would be lodged as a debt against the person's account, and they would settle the balance later with either commodities, labor, or notes. Promissory notes, those were similar to IOUs, detailing the debt or the amount owed and the terms for a repayment. Promissory notes were more secure than a book account, as they could be exchanged as a form of currency. Bills of credit. Some colonies like Massachusetts started in the 1690 would issue paper bills or credit. These early attempts as paper money were intended to represent commodities held by the treasury, and their success relied on the government's ability to redeem them for coin or goods. So yeah, man, somebody came up with the so they probably already came up with the idea of paper money before the elites, but then the elites figured out how to use that as a more devious and diabolical plan that you have today called the dollar bill. It says early colonists simply exchanged goods and services directly with one another. For example, a settler could buy shoes from a cobbler and pay with labor or grain. With the value determined through negotiation, bartering was time-consuming but essential for survival in the early colonial areas. They were using a bartering system. And this is what you see back here in the book of Genesis 47 with Joseph. And this is to a certain degree what these elites are going to do to you people, to us right now, what they're doing. Joseph said to the people, "Now that I have bought you and your land today for Pharaoh, here is seed for you, so you can plant the ground." Okay, but when the crop comes in, give a fifth of it to Pharaoh. The other 4/5 you may keep as seed for the fields, and as food for yourselves and your household and your children. And so in exchange for their work there, for planting seed, what Joseph gave them, so in exchange what Joseph gave them there, so in exchange for what Joseph would give them there, and what they would plant there for Joseph here, the King Joseph, one of the kings of Egypt here, in this time here. What the fuck is that? In exchange for what Joseph would give them here, right? Plant seed on the ground here. They would give a fifth of it to Pharaoh, man. A fifth of it to Pharaoh here. To feed themselves, and then most of it they would keep for them. And basically that 1/5 of it they would give to Pharaoh. And essentially, this is in a way what the elites are already doing to us. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Anyway, it says in 25, you have saved our lives, they said. May we find favor in the eyes of our Lord. We will be in bondage to Pharaoh. And so Joseph established it as a law concerning land in Egypt, still in force today, that a fifth of the produce belongs to Pharaoh. It was only the land of the priests that did not become Pharaoh's. So this is essentially what these elites are also doing unto us. Okay, all right, awesome, cool. Yeah. Because they're in bondage to them. And they control the food. Here we have essentially what Joseph was doing on the right hand side though, onto the Egyptians here, living here in this time period here, right? So that's what they're gonna do to us, and with that, that's the point. Shalom. Hold on. Okay, so here, once again, actually, I ain't explaining it good enough. Let me explain it good enough and better. Egypt here, Joseph here controlled these people. He controlled the food. He had control of the food in this time. And essentially, this is what the elites are doing to us. This is what the elites are doing to us. And they're going to bring in the economic, man-made famine. As you hear about in Revelation 13, my nigga. Revelation 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell except he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So yeah, man, this is going to be a man-made famine that the elites are going to bring, that we see an account of here in the book of Genesis 47, account here with Joseph here in particularly, right? Specifically Joseph here. Where they had nothing else to give Joseph, so in return, basically it's like the Lord already was gonna make Joseph rich by having these people sell themselves as bond servants to Joseph here in the scriptures here. And basically, I believe these elites done took notes from here, from Genesis 47 here. And because they control the food today on the left side, and their power, they control the food today and the money and how the economy can work. And soon they're going to decide to take this chip so you can keep eating and living. The only difference is that the Lord ain't going to allow them to get too far. This is Genesis 47 here. Genesis 47 here in verse 13 again. There was no food, however, in the whole region because the famine was severe. Both Egypt and Canaan wasted away because of the famine. 14. Joseph collected all the money that was to be found in Egypt and Canaan in payment for the grain they were buying, and he bought it to Pharaoh's palace.